So welcome everyone to the King County Metro Transit Operator of the Year ceremony. Thank you for all coming. I'm Ken Johnston, the Superintendent of the Metro Transit's Eastside Campus. We are here today to celebrate the best of the best, the Operators of the Year for King County Metro Transit. What a great day. And speaking of the best, how about the Seattle Storm? That wasn't very loud. It's like this room's on decaf, this side of the room's on caffeinate. Let's do that again. What about the storm? What a playoff run and what a season. It was fun to watch Stewie, Bird, Clark, and Lloyd and the rest of the team capture their third world championship. So, awesome. So with that, good things come in threes. 3 championships for the Storm, our 3 Operators of the Year, and if anyone hasn't heard yet, King County Metro Transit won the award as APTA's Best Large Transit System in North America for the 3rd time in our history. As a driver, I always took pride in seeing that sticker on the window of my bus saying we are number 1 every time I boarded my coach to start the day. That's a great way to start, so congratulations to all of us. That award is, it's truly a team award from our executive to our senior management team, schedulers, facilities, vehicle maintenance, the operations team, our first line supervisors, safety department, transit police, plus our efforts in equity and social justice. We'd be here all day naming every department or initiative that played a role. In my opinion, though, the real reason for the win goes to the outstanding job of our team of over 3,000 plus transit operators, the true face of Metro, the ones that are out there 24/7, rain or shine, safely providing excellent customer service to the citizens of the county. And today, we get to celebrate 3 of the best. Let's give them a round of applause. And awesome job, everyone. We should be very proud of this accomplishment in receiving this prestigious award. Way to bring it back to Metro. The Operator of the Year program is a way for us to recognize and show our appreciation to those operators who make a positive contribution to our riding public, those who demonstrate safe driving skills, courteous and helpful attitudes towards their customer, those who pay the utmost attention to the demanding requirements it takes to do the transit operator job. The process to become Operator of the Year starts with the exceptional service that our transit operators provide. Your base chief starts the nomination process by recommending you based on your record in providing outstanding customer service, attendance, appearance, safety, plus many more outstanding qualities you'll hear about today. Next, the previous month's winners select 1 operator from each base as the Operator of the Month. Finally, all the current Operators of the Month get to vote for the Operator of the Year. A funny thing happened this year. The voting came down to a 3-way tie. The very first time that happened. We've had 2 co-winners before, but never 3. Being selected by your peers is a big honor. They are the ones who are out there with you each and every day and understand more than anyone how you deliver outstanding customer service and what it truly takes to be an outstanding transit operator. The 3 of you are about to hear from many distinguished guests who will talk about why you were nominated, grace you with many awards, certificates, and most importantly, honoring the deserving recognition bestowed upon you today. Before we hear from our first speaker, I'd like to take a moment to recognize Mr. James Turner, the 2016 Operator of the Year. All right, with that, our first speaker is going to be Executive King County, Dal Constantine.
Well, thank you very much. This is one of my favorite events of the year, and I really appreciate being invited to watch James hand over his Miss America crown to 3 people. You know, this is a first-time event at Metro Transit, honoring not 1, not 2, but 3 Operators of the Year. We have 3 drivers tied for our most prestigious honor. How on earth did this happen? Well, as you've heard, each month, 1 operator from each base is selected as Operator of the Month for that base. And then the candidates for Operator of the Month are nominated by the supervisors, and the winners are selected by the Operators of the Month from the previous month. So at the end of the year, with the 7 bases and the 12 months, you have 84 operators a month, which means that if every one of them voted for themselves, we would have 84 people up here right now. Next year. But this year we ended in a 3-way tie. Ties are not a new thing. There have been ties twice before. In 1994 and again in 2007, we ended up with a tie vote, and in those cases, we honored both operators for their amazing service. So, why not 3? Let's meet our 3 operators of the year for 2017. First, Ricardo Diaz from Atlantic Base. Ricardo. This is the part where it sounds like I'm narrating the dating game or something. It's great. A transit operator since 1991, Ricardo's customers describe him as kind, gentle, and caring. He's known to go out of his way to help people both on and off the bus, and this is reflected by the numerous commendations he's received from his customers. His advice for operators is this: treat the customers as individuals, take each day as it comes, and take care of your mental and physical health. Thank you, and congratulations, Ricardo. Our second operator of the year is Penny Scott. Not Michelle Penny.
Not Michelle Penny.
That's right. From Central Base. Penny became a transit operator in 1995. She's known for brightening up the room, or in this case, the bus, with her outgoing and friendly personality and positive attitude. Penny proudly wears her safety pins because she knows that being safe means taking care of people. Congratulations and thank you. And our third operator from Bellevue Base, Robert Leyse. Transit operator since 2002, Robert's commitment to excellent customer service is reflected in the high number of commendations he has received over the years. Robert's philosophy is summed up in his advice to smile when you greet passengers, say good morning, afternoon, or evening. It can help ease the stress of a tough day. Congratulations and thank you, Robert. These 3 outstanding operators represent the best of Metro, and as we know, Metro is officially, once again, the best on the continent. Congratulations to all of you. I mean, the best thing about that is you did all the work, and now I get to go to Nashville to help receive the award. Isn't that great? Our ability to grow as a transit agency really depends on the quality of service we provide, the friendliness, the professionalism. The driving safety demonstrated by these operators is the fuel that has helped Metro Transit to excel. This terrific trio of operators brings to mind a quote by retired General Colin Powell. If you are going to achieve excellence in big things, you develop the habit in little matters. Excellence is not exception. It is a prevailing attitude. Well, please join me in congratulating 3 operators who have that attitude of excellence every day in the big things and small. We are proud of them, and we thank them for their exceptional service. Congratulations. Is it ring time?
No.
Okay.
So next up, we have Ayanna Brown, Chief of Atlantic Base.
I'm the base chief out of Atlantic Base, and I'll be introducing Ricardo Diaz. I'll be speaking on, or reading a bio based off of, for Ricardo Diaz. Ricardo drives Route 4 in the Seattle area and was hired as a part-time transit operator in 1991. Went full-time in March of '96. He has earned a 19-year Safe Driving Award and 7 rider commendations. He was born and raised in Seattle and has a wife, 2 daughters, and 4 grandchildren. He enjoys being with his family, listening to music, gardening, home projects, camping, and cheering on the Seahawks. Ricardo's advice for other operators is try to practice peaceful behaviors. It'll take the edge off. Be forgiving of yourself and others. Seek the wisdom of others. It's not all luck that helps you achieve longevity.
Thank you, Anna. Next up, we have John Bowie from Central Base.
Wow, this is tough here. Well, what I can say about Penny, Penny was hired as a part-time transit operator in July 1995. She went full-time in 2001. She has earned over 22 Safe Driving Awards. Penny was born in Seattle, graduated from Garfield, 1991. Penny is known around the base as the 5-star general. And I can tell Penny has this thing with energy because I can tell when I was a driver and became a supervisor, when I walk in the building, all I can hear is, "Bully!" It's just full of energy and life. Penny has 2 grown sons, Jonathan and Dorian, and in her spare time, Penny loves to travel and be among friends. Congratulations, Penny.
Next up, we have Judy Young from Bellevue Base.
Good morning. All right, congratulations. Executive Constantine, Deputy Executive Jarrett, General Manager Gannon, Deputy General Manager White, and County leadership, welcome and thank you for being here. Robert has lived most of his life in Bellevue area. He attended Shamamish, how you pronounce that? I got that country twang. How you pronounce that? Thank you, Shamamish, like you manage, right? And Bellevue Community College. He was hired as a part-time operator in September 2002, and he went full-time in March 2003. For the last 3 years, Robert has had 4 sick days total. He has earned a 10-year Safe Driving Award, 48 commendation, and was also Operator of the Month for July 2017. And here's my quote: "The fruit of your labor is sweet, and I must say you deserve it." On this achievement, we wish you a hearty congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. Next up, we have the presentation of the rings. So Dow Constantine and Fred Jarrett, our Senior Deputy Executive from King County, please come on up. And which one's 1 and 2?
1, 2, 3.
Okay, you guys have been numbered. Okay. Okay. So I want to say before we start, this will be Fred's last one of these ceremonies. He is retiring at the end of this year, and I want you to join me in thanking Fred for his service to the people of King County. You can still get a bus pass, though. All right. So our first ring is to Ricardo Diaz. And do I open this for him, or does he open it? I have to open it? Okay. Okay. Yeah.
You know what?
See, there's this tradition, isn't there, that you're supposed to kiss the ring, which I'm happy to do. There. So there you go. That is a real diamond, right? Congratulations on your award, well deserved. Next one. Ooh. Oh my goodness. There you go. There we go. And the next one, I think the diamond might be bigger than yours. Here's Penny Scott. Penny. And finally, Robert Leyse. Congratulations. Which one do you want? Thank you.
Thank you. So thank you, Down Fred, and congratulations again on the retirement. Now, here's a secret you guys didn't know. Those rings, you don't get to keep them. So they're borrowed from the previous operator of the year. So we're going to get yours sized and get them done. But you get to enjoy them for the ceremony, so we'll get you there. So, yeah. All right, next up, we have the presentation of the tops and ops. Rob Gannon, the General Manager of Metro Transit.
We're going to treat this like a holiday celebration and actually let them open this next gift. Congratulations. So please go ahead and open it.
There you are, Santa Claus.
Santa Claus, yes. So, a lot of wonderful things have been said about our colleagues, and it is the It is part of recognizing all of our operators that have been named Operator of the Month that we publish their tops and ops across the entire agency and share all of their achievements and some of their inspiration. And so now that you're Operators of the Year, we have memorialized this and framed it, and again extend our honor and thanks to you for your outstanding service to the agency and to the region. So congratulations. The thing that I like to emphasize every year at the Operator of the Year, this year Operators of the Year ceremony, is that we're not just naming them outstanding operators, we're not just naming them something for the year. We are, as an agency, bestowing on them our highest honor, right? This is the agency's greatest recognition for outstanding achievement. It's not just Operator of the Year, it is Metro Employee of the Year. Thank you so much for what you do for representing all of our work to the region, to our customers, to your families. Thank you for inspiring us, and thank you for what you do each and every day. Congratulations. And now, sadly, I must admonish each of them for being out of uniform. So, what we will soon have in recognition of our achievement as the outstanding public transportation agency in the continent is a uniform lapel pin for all of us to wear with pride, commemorating this year's achievement. We are in the process of distributing these to the entire agency, all 5,000 of us,
And I think it is only fitting that among the first 3 to be distributed go to each of our Operators of the Year for them to wear proudly. So congratulations.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Rob. And next up, we have the presentation of the plaques. Terry White, Deputy General Manager, Metro Transit.
Those are actually your plaques. We have to get those back. Welcome to the multiverse. Anybody get that? So I have to try to figure out how to be emotionally calm when I come to this specific event because it's about our operators, which I wanted to be from the age of 10, believe it or not. This is the deal. These guys here do so much for our communities that just goes unnoticed. They do so much in a moment in time when that customer gets on that bus and sits down. They change lives on a regular basis. So before I get to them, I want to ask their family who came today to stand up. So I want to personally thank each of you for allowing us to be a part of your family and loaning your members to us. You've obviously done a great job with them. They're incredible. When you loan them to us, they become teachers, counselors, sometimes lawyers probably. They're also parents to a lot of kids out there. For me, that's how I got here today, literally. I was raised by a couple of operators, and they were incredible, incredible. And one of the first things I did when I got to Metro was run to see if they were ever Operator of the Month or Operator of the Year, and they weren't. It is hard to get on this stage. It's hard. This is 0.1% of our operators. And our operators collectively do an incredible job out there on the road. It's not easy all the time. As you know, the system doesn't always run perfectly. Try though we do. Doesn't always work out. Sometimes the bus isn't the bus it's supposed to be. Try though we do. And sometimes the schedule doesn't work out the way it's supposed to. But these operators somehow figure out how to continue to care and love and be a part of the communities that they serve. They don't let any of those variables get in their way. And as folks get on that bus in that glimpse in time, some of them having to get to their job that day, and if they don't make it, it may be over for them and their families. They get that reassurance from our operators on a regular basis that the day is going to go okay and it's going to be all right. On a regular basis, no matter what we throw at you, snow, don't say that anymore. No matter what it is, they figure out how to rise. This is the best of the best, and we have some incredible operators out there that do things all the time. Was it recently we had an operator witness an accident, get off their coach, go out, grab the fire extinguisher before they got off, and put the fire out. And then get back on the bus and drive the rest of the route. Just a day in the life. There are so many things that go unnoticed by operators, but I know our communities appreciate you. I truly appreciate you, Penny. I don't know, I've been holding this news in, not telling you forever and ever. But what you see from our operators is what you get. We truly do care about the communities we serve, and they do this on a regular basis, day in, day out. And we see you. We see you. Today we recognize you, Ricardo, Penny, Robert. I salute you, and I truly thank you for what you've done and for all those other 10-year-olds out there now who are being blessed by your services, and hopefully some of them will end up here. We are hiring, by the way. So thank you all for what you do. You guys are doing some incredible stuff, and I look forward to what you do going forward in the rest of your careers. Thank you. Okay, which one is one?
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
You can open it.
Stand up.
You're gonna wear that around your neck? Make it a gold chain around your neck?
Next up, we have the presentation of the uniform patches, name tags, and business cards, and Tim Flanagan, our Director of Bus Operations.
Well, congratulations on being our first time. We had 3 people doing it all at once. I'd like to think because this is my first time I'm up here, I had something to do with that. And maybe Mr. Jarrett, with his parting ways, I gave you 3 too, so thank you. I would like to say that as an ex-operator myself and understanding what it takes to be an operator, drove for 16 years, know the things you do, the people that you help every day, knowing you 3 individually outside of just driving the bus. I drove trolleys with Ricardo for maybe 10 years, worked at the East Base as a dispatcher with Robert. Robert's a guy that would change his work for you anytime you needed him to. When he sees it, he's that guy. He's the guy that when the dispatcher is crying because he's about to cancel, he comes up and says, I'll do anything you need me to do, even if it's the worst route. And as a dispatcher, I really appreciate that. I look forward to seeing people like you, and it's not just you 3, people across the whole system do the same thing that makes us as good as we always are, and it's a beautiful thing, so I appreciate all you guys. And Miss Scott, that smile that she comes into the base with every day, she just comes up, she knows how to just make a dispatcher's day by coming up and just saying something silly, and it's sometimes it's just enough to take the edge off, and it's just what you need. But she's like everyone else up here, always there for you, always willing to go the extra mile to do anything, and that's why you 3 are our first 3-time winner, or first 3 winners. So with that being said, I have some gifts for you. Not really sure what they are, but to Ricardo, my trolley friend. And the lovely Miss Penny Scott. And the workhorse, Robert Leyse.
So since you can't see, they get business cards they can hand to their customers. They have a name tag that they can wear on the uniforms and a patch as well. So it's kind of nice so everybody knows these are the best of the best. And next up, we have the presentation of the license frames. Grantley Martelli, Managing Director, Safety and Security.
Thank you, and congratulations to our winners today. As Terry was talking, I remembered I've been a transit rider my entire life, from the time I could walk. Been riding transit in the Caribbean. And as I look at you guys here and I'm going to school and stuff, I remember walking down the road on the street looking for coins in the gutter so that I could pay my bus fare to get on the bus, because if I got on without bus fare and I got in trouble, I would get, my mother would punish me when I get home for trying to cheat on the bus driver. And so if I didn't have money, I had to find it on the street or you know, the gutters and chairs and stuff to try to find the bus fare, and did that my whole life. And we did some pretty stuff that we shouldn't do on the bus system. And the operators were always really good to us. I was just thinking about that. I also remember many nights trying not to miss the last bus. And we would have to run all the way across town, because if you missed that last bus, you had to walk all the way home. And sometimes the operator would stop and wait. He would see us huffing coming down the road, and he or she would stop and wait for us. So I commend you today for your work. I commend you for what you do. I commend you for being Operator of the Year. It's a great honor in this great system. And as I moved to Seattle, trying to learn to use the system and trying to understand it, realizing what a great system it is. And you're also the Operator of the Year in the year that we're the greatest transit system in the multiverse, right? So I was trying to figure out what we could do on those plaques and stuff to give a little mark there to say that this was the year, but congratulations to you. In the area of responsibility of safety and security, you know, it's important that you have also won the awards for operator for safety and operating safely, because at the end of the day, if what we do is not done safely and our people don't feel secure, they're not coming back, and none of us are here. So your work is very, very important, and I really appreciate that. You're not only responsible for your safety, but you're responsible for the safety of the passengers. You're also responsible for the safety of all the people around you, the pedestrians and the bicyclists and all the other people who do a lot of weird stuff, as you know, every day around the transit system. And I see people do stuff every day as I ride transit, and I watch operators.
Operator, Mr. Esente, Jose Esente,
Right.
Central Base. Thank you.
I watch what you do and I say, wow, you guys have a really, really phenomenal job, and you do it very well. I compare it to being that of a pilot. You know, airline pilots do a great job, but you do a greater job because you don't have autopilot, you don't have computers to guide you, you don't have air traffic controllers to tell you what runway to land on. You got to do it all yourselves, and you do it effectively every day. So thank you. Are they in order? This one? Okay. Thank you very much. And your license plate that you would carry for a long time, it would be on your car, and we hope that to see it there and to remember to thank you for your work every day. You all smile and really show this probably in your car. Thank you, Robert. Thank you.
I'm going to share some personal information about Robert. I don't think Robert owns a car. Do you? So I live in Bellevue, I work in Bellevue, and I see Robert walking all over the place and taking the bus. He rides the bus and he walks, so it's kind of nice, but you have to figure out something to do with that. There you go. So anyway, good job, guys. So we're going to have an auction at Eastgate. So part of this is they get a parking spot. So we're going to auction off Robert's parking spot and give the donations to the base. So anyway, good job, guys. All right, so next up, we have the presentation of the Clean Coach Certificate, but Chris Parrott, our Vehicle Maintenance Managing Director, was not able to make it, so we have Christine Eau Claire filling in. And so this is terrible. Christine has moved around quite a bit, and the agency's changing so much, I forgot what your title is.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah,
That's the
so-
important part. So no, I'm not Chris Parrott. My name is also Chris. And no, I can't maintain a vehicle. And I can't operate a vehicle. And I just really respect the work that you do. But I sit on a leadership team with Chris. And what I know I share with Chris in a sentiment of a real commitment to public transportation. And I just want to really share that the commitment of public transportation is more than just getting, as you know, the people where they want to go and where they need to go. It's really connecting people to opportunities. And our King County executive has led us in a direction to improve the quality of life in King County, and public transportation is at the core of that. So today you're being recognized for being an Operator of the Year, but I want to remind you that what you're doing is really giving people the opportunities to get to where they need to go, to find a job, to connect to a social service agency, or just to drop their kid off at daycare. So thank you. Thank you from all of our customers to really improving the quality of life in King County. So I just learned today about this award, and it's pretty exciting. I'm going to guarantee that all of you get to go pick the coach that you want to operate over the next year. And I know Chris Parrott will make sure his team provides the cleanest coach possible and make sure that coach is clean for the Operator of the Year. So you can't take the coach home, though. There's no parking it in your driveway. You got to keep it at the base. But what you get is you get to go pick the coach, get to keep it for the year, and the vehicle maintenance team will guarantee that it's the cleanest coach so that you can provide the highest quality service to our customers. So thank you. Thank you.
Go ahead and open it. Very nice. Next up, we have the presentation of the parking signs. Lisa Perriott, Assistant Managing Director of Power and Facilities.
Good morning. This is always such a fun event to be part of. And I wanted to share with you guys this morning a story about one of my first early in my career positions that I held, where I was a construction inspector. And I worked for Washington State Ferries, and I was down at the Coleman Dock, and we were remodeling the terminal building. And I was, you know, when you're inspecting and you're out in a construction job site, you're always looking for unforeseen, unplanned events, and you're trying to stay aware. So when I was there, I'd hear this noise. And I was trying to figure out, what is that noise? But it was not routine and it wasn't regular, so it was days before it took me to find what the source of that noise was. And what it was is it was our ticket taker, Denny, who, when I approached him, I said, Denny, what are you doing? What's that noise? It's been driving me crazy. What is that? He just said, and there was a disabled, visually impaired person across the way, and he said, after he had passed through, he said, that person comes every day, and we've got 5 toll booths, and he has no idea which one's active and which one I'm in, and so this is his guiding sound that I bring him in to my toll booth every day. And so when Terry was talking about going unnoticed, you know, that story was so inspirational to me and was such a moment of humanity to me that I'm sharing that with you guys today, 25 years later. And what Terry and all the other folks that have gone before me have shared is that you may think that things go unnoticed, but they don't, and you guys are recognized today by your peers for your outstanding achievement, and I want to congratulate you all on behalf of Power and Facilities. So thank you all for everything that you do every day, and it doesn't go unnoticed. And just to make sure that it doesn't go unnoticed, we have the famous parking signs for you guys. And this will be a sure thing that every day when people are racing to get that parking spot and check in, and they think that they have found that one parking space that has not been taken, they will see that sign that says, so thank you all.
All right. Awesome. That's probably one of the most cherished things they're going to get today, because they get that great spot and get to pick where their spot's going to be and have it mounted up, and everybody gets to see it for the whole year. So Robert, we're just going to have to figure out maybe something inside the base for you, a chair or something.
I'll let John Boone get the honors for my.
Oh, there you go.
One of the best at Bellevue.
One of the best, yeah.
John Boone
Okay,
gets it.
good idea. All right. See, that's why he's up here. He's so nice. He could make some coin off of it, and he's just giving it away. Good deal. All right, the presentation of the We'll Get You There awards and car cards. Kayleen Norris, the acting manager of customer communications and services.
Thank you. I just want to tell you that it is a great privilege to be able to be here to recognize your outstanding work on behalf of all the customer service teams. I'd also like to take the opportunity to bring some folks into this room who aren't here, and that's the voices of our customers, because they see you every day and they tell us about you. Through our call center and our website and our social media, and sometimes through the inboxes of our GM and our executive, our customers serve up a lot of feedback about their experiences on our system. Strangely, they seem to be insisting on accountability for the service that they pay for. So as all of you know, they're very willing to tell us what they believe went wrong for them personally every day out there. But they also tell us about the very best that went right, and that explains why the customer service teams have such enormous respect and appreciation and admiration for what you do every day. It's a very difficult job. Like you, we're frequently needed most by the people who are less able to help themselves. And like you, we're frequently interacting with a range of humanity that can at times be challenging and difficult and rude and impatient. The important difference? We don't do it in person while maneuvering a 40 to 60 foot vehicle at speed down roads that can at any moment present potential hazards to our safety. So mindful of this awesome responsibility and our limited time, I would like to share a small sample of the many customer comments and stories commending these three operators, and I think you'll all hear some common themes. For Ricardo Diaz, always polite and helps all riders, whether they are disabled, elderly, or otherwise. Always cordial and patient, approachable and extremely caring, treats everyone with respect, no matter their station in life. Always ready to lend a helping hand. Here's a little story from a customer that puts an exclamation point on these descriptions. This driver noticed that for the past couple days, I've been paying to ride the bus with cash instead of using my Orca card. He let me ride for free this morning because I haven't been able to go to the store or a station that allows me to add money to my card. He doesn't know that his sincere act, whether he sees it as a small gesture or not, means a lot to me. Something Ricardo Diaz probably didn't know is that this customer is a single mom coping with a child recently diagnosed with a serious health condition. Her life is suddenly consumed with worries about missing work and trying to get her child to multiple medical appointments at multiple locations several days a week, for which she is dependent on bus transportation. In his compassion and kindness, Ricardo made her burden and stress a little easier to bear in that moment. Whether he's helping a customer onto the bus with her walker, waiting for an elderly passenger who's trying hard to get aboard on time, making sure a customer who uses a wheelchair is perfectly accommodated, helping a vehicle driver move his disabled car out of traffic, and helping a lost customer get to her destination, Ricardo is living Metro's commitment to great service. Thank you. Penny Scott. Awesome, pleasant, and a very skilled driver. Very polite, helpful, and informative, friendly, personable, and professional. Great driving, too. Managing traffic with the skill and patience I expect from Metro drivers. Always gracious and considerate, alert, attentive, and communicates well. Multiple customers mentioned the care she takes in waiting until each elderly rider or rider with a disability is seated safely, including this one. Thanks to this driver, I was able to get a seat. I am disabled with low vision and have severe arthritis. I just want the driver to know how much I appreciate her asking someone to give up a seat for me. Another customer described how Penny took action to help an elderly woman at a layover stop who seemed to need medical attention. She called the control center to arrange for assistance. This customer who wrote us said he was shocked and amazed that the driver took the time to help. It's perhaps sad that he's shocked and amazed, because I think we could expect that behavior from any number of our operators. And appreciation for Penny's dedication to service extends beyond borders. After witnessing Penny help a rider who needed to transfer by getting the attention of the bus in front of hers and ensuring the rider transferred successfully, a visitor wrote us to say, "In my country, you just don't see that kind of dedication to customer service from bus drivers." Thank you and well done. And Robert, very kind, friendly, courteous, and knowledgeable. He always seems willing to give a little extra help to the riders. Treats all customers with dignity and respect. It's clear this excellent driver takes pride in his job and cares about the people he serves. He greeted every passenger with a sincere enthusiasm that would have done Nordstrom proud. He seemed thrilled to be driving the bus and even happier that we were coming with him. I run a business, and I'd be ecstatic to have this gentleman representing me. What a pro. Numerous commendations described Robert's patience and helpfulness for riders with disabilities, waiting the extra bit of time for an intending passenger to get to the coach, assisting a passenger to get her wheelchair situated just right, making sure a passenger who is blind would have assistance at his intended station stop, and giving customers shelter from the rain instead of letting them stand in line until departure time, communicating with passengers and giving them information so they have a good experience using the system. Robert's response to one grateful rider could have come from any one of these three folks up here. He said, "I'm glad to help, I'm just doing my job." Mahatma Gandhi is credited with saying that the true measure of any society can be found in how it treats its most vulnerable members. Every day, these three individuals work to make the kind of society I think we all want to be part of, one that welcomes all with respect, and one in which help is readily and kindly offered, especially to those who need it most. So Ricardo, Penny, and Robert, in the safe and skillful way you transport hundreds of people every day just so they can live their lives, in the courteous, friendly professionalism you demonstrate in often challenging and stressful situations, and in the sheer kindness and patient help you've shown to our most vulnerable riders, the three of you are true public servants, and we're proud and honored to be your coworkers.
Thank you, Kayleen. You guys are getting so many gifts. You get overwhelmed yet? No. Because the ceremony's only half over, so I hope you're okay. You guys need water or anything? No, we're good. Part of this ceremony is that it's a secret. So the staff, everybody had to get together to figure out a ruse to get these guys here. And I think you were doing a survey. You were tricked into getting a survey. So pretty good surprise, I think we did for you. But that's always touchy to keep this thing a secret in an agency our size, especially with 3 people doing this ceremony. So hats off to those that did a great job of keeping this as a complete secret. I think these guys are completely surprised. Next up, we have the really big award, the presentation of the bus shelter cards. Bill Bryant, the Managing Director of Service Development.
Good morning. So what's bigger than the multiverse? Nothing, that's right. And so it would be impossible to heap too much praise on these esteemed colleagues of ours. And it would also be impossible to add, though, to the compliments and observations that we've already heard, especially the customer testimonials. And I mean, as you know, that's what it's all about. Like Robert, I could be accused of being a professional bus rider. And I know that the conditions that the 3 of you and your 2,900 or 3,000 colleagues deal with every day. And I also know that it only takes one nasty customer to really cancel out that 500 that are actually quite satisfied. And I know that the 3 of you are among the operators that are able to issue a truly happy, truly connecting greeting or a goodbye to customers despite what you face every day. And I so appreciate that. I also would say that I think it was Terry who recognized that you represent 1/10 of 1% of all of King County Metro's operators. And Rob observed that you really represent the best of all of King County Metro, which, if you do the math, equals roughly 6/100ths of 1% of our workforce. And an even more minute percentage of the overall population of King County, which is about 2.2 million now, I believe. So thank you so much for everything you do. Before I present another lasting symbol of our appreciation to go along with your diamond rings, which you actually do own, and your parking spaces and some very high quality plaques that I see. I also want to thank some of those who have helped set the stage for your success. First, let's give another hand to past Operators of the Year. I know that there are several in the room. And then second, once again, to the family members who have obviously done something very right. And with that, I'd like to present you with a lasting symbol that will be viewed by probably thousands of people every week in Metro bus shelters. Maybe on your route, maybe not, or maybe they'll be on your route to start with and you'll pick something else. But in the hopes that we don't have a call for an operator to fill a piece of work and one of you dedicated folks jump up and snap up that piece of work, let's go ahead with this presentation. All right. And this is what they meant by big award. This is a big award.
It would have been pretty much impossible to mix these up.
Yeah. All right. Good job, guys. Thank you, Bill. So part of our winning the big award at APTA, we need to recognize the fact that we have a great partnership with ATU 587, And that really helps too with that award and getting us there. So with that said, we've got Ken Price, the president of ATU Local 587.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you.
We are number one. Everyone, we're number one. All of you. And when I first thought about this and had some help with getting to my speech ready, I don't want to be too long because you've been up here for a long time, but I was going to say 587. Who moves this city?
We move the city.
Now let me ask everyone, who moves this city?
We
do.
this city.
Thank you. So, without further, I would like to say, Miss Penny Scott, it was very hard when Mary Stevens announced this award, because on the secret mission came the phrases top secret. It was hard. I seen Penny and that smile, and it was always, oh, I can't tell. If you don't know that smile, then you don't know happy. How happy I am to announce Operator of the Year, so you can get to see that smile that I'm telling you is big. Operator with the positive principle that encourages the company values, goals that she, as an operator here at King County over 23 years, she went full-time in 2001, and that smile has an overall effect on the customers and her fellow employees through the commitment of the profession she has taken on here. I am happy, again, to announce Penny Scott. Thank you so much. Now I'm going to put on my glasses so I can see, because that one was easier. So Robert goes back a number of years. I don't know if Robert remembers this one, but back when the 135 route, it is now the 125 route. I qualified Robert when he was a new, I believe, part-time operator. Going through the streets, fighting the things. Robert says to me at the end of this is a treacherous route. The Operator Award is meant to boost morale, encourage healthy competition among our top performers, as are past. These guys, ex-Operators of the Year, sitting here. Robert went full-time in 2003. The story is behind who this operator is as a person. It starts by letting you know that this operator does not own a car. He rides a bike, as we all heard. Well, one day he had an accident on his bike on his way to work. He goes to the window, tries to sign in, his face bloody, and he's in pain. The window person says, "You can't sign in like this, drive like that, Robert." But one of Robert's favorite sayings is, "I don't want to leave the customers behind." And that is why we're here. And what I always hold true to him is why he is one of our top operators. With that said, I think I can speak for Robert by making this request to Metro. Though Robert does not drive, he won't need the Operator of the Year parking spot, but Metro, can you put a down payment on a house in his favorite neighborhood, Somerset, which is off the Route 246, one of Robert's favorite routes. Thank you, Robert. Well, let's see. This was the one that Robert Leyse. I wrote this one. I thought I was thinking of someone else. I'll tell you the truth. Operator of the Year Award is meant to boost the morale, encourage healthy competition. Well, that's that one. Ricardo, thank you. I'm Ken Johnston. I was roped into this. So Ricardo, has taken on this task of Atlantic base for a number of years. And I, as a driver, said I got to get to Atlantic Base and do what really touches the city. This goes into neighborhoods, and that is really the heart and soul of the history of our Seattle. And I did it for a while, and I said, hey, they don't pay me enough for this. I tell you, it's an extra challenge, and I've known Robert just barely through the years, and it was always positive, always encouraging, and still staying here at Atlantic Base. So I salute you, and I salute all three of you. Thank you for everything you do.
So I'm listening to Ken's speech, and I'm sitting there going, oh, he's going to let me off the hook for screwing up the names. Then he throws me under the bus. So, okay. So, all right. Ken talked a little bit about the secret. So Mike Thornton and I were here yesterday, helped setting up and talking about the ceremony, and who walks in? Penny Scott. Going, what are you guys doing? And we made up some lie about Rob having a town hall. She bought it, but that was good. That was rough. We just both looked at each other and go, oh crap, she's here. So, okay, so anyway, we're almost winding up. So we've got a very special guest right here. The James Turner, Mr. Turner, the 2016 Operator of the Year, has a few comments, and let's all give him a big round of applause. He did a great job this year. And he is just one of the nicest guys I think everybody can attest that you ever want to meet, and what a perfect role for this. You guys have a lot to live up to, so good job this year.
Okay, thank you. I would like all of the previous operators of the year to stand, please. Thank you. Well, it's been an amazing year, and I enjoyed being Operator of the Year for 2016. My many thanks to my peers, chiefs, and the community for such an honor. And I would like to congratulate the honorees, the winners of the 2017 Operators of the Year. Congratulations to each and every one of you. Thank you.
And thank you, Mr. Turner, and all the other previous operators of the year. It's great to see you guys all here. So, now we're winding it up. But before we do, each one of you gets to come up and give a little, whatever you want to say. You can come on up and say some words.
I was not expecting this, you guys. This is such a surprise to me. Oh my goodness, you just don't know, because I be all over the place. And so like when I came up here yesterday, Ken and Michael Thornton, they like totally fooled me. And then like my Metro dad, James Wills, he fooled me too. And Marty and them guys, they were like, well, we gotta go out to do the customer survey thing to the drivers and stuff. And I'm like, they all sitting out here, what we need to go in there for? And they were like, no, Penny, come, Denise is gonna come on in. I'm like, what I need to go in there for? So this is really surprising to me. I am very honored to be in the presence of all the past drivers of the year. Miss Maddie Robinson was the first African-American female to win Operator of the Year, as you know, as an African American woman, and I second behind her, and I feel that that's a great honor in itself. Mr. Fabre, my guy, to be in the honor with you guys, man. This is just, this is a lot. This is too much for me. This is too much. But thank you guys. I appreciate you, my family. All you guys are coming. How'd you guys get down here? Who told you? No, I mean, well, anyways, I'll find that out later. But anyways, thank you guys for coming. Thank you guys for nominating me. I appreciate it. Mr. Turner, thank you. Thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Robert Leyse. When I first came to Metro as a part-time transit operator, there's one guy that really stands out for me, really helped me out, and that's John Helm. He was at Eastgate at the time. I believe he was a report operator. When I got out of training, I was really nervous. I didn't know what to expect. The training was good. I knew how to drive a bus. And anytime I had a question, I would always be able to go to John Helm. He would help me out. He was big in safety. He gave me a lot of tips on, how to drive the bus and be very safe, not to be complacent and all that, and that really helped me out. Another person that really stands out for me is John Boone, another operator of the year just a couple years ago. Always came in, always courteous, always say, hey, Rob, how are you doing today? And those two guys, really outstanding operators. They really helped me out to improve my job performance. And I've been riding the bus. I don't have a car. I haven't had a car in about 14 years. So I could get an insight about how riders, kind of riders' point of view, when you get the bus, customer service and all that. So anyway, when I drive a bus and approach a bus zone, I think of myself, I'm a rider too. And I would want to be treated just as I would treat everyone else. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. And this award I'm very honored to have this award. This is quite an achievement, and I really appreciate everything that's been going on. Thank you very much, everyone.
Very nervous right now and very emotional, and those that know me the best know that that's what I am, is very emotional. Sometimes that's good, and sometimes that's bad. I am very surprised that I'm here today, actually. I'm not surprised that I'm sharing this honor with three people, because I've always believed that on any given day, most of our operators could be Operator of the Year. I'm thankful, very thankful. This has been a long journey. And I'll say that I want to say a lot of thanks, and I'm going to start off by saying thanks to my wife. The times that I've dreamed about being Operator of the Year, and I believed it was mostly a dream, I always told myself and I told my wife that if I ever had that chance, I would specifically honor her. She's helped me along the way. She's been a lot of things. She's been my support. She's helped me when I needed her to cover the home base, raising our daughters. She's been my complaint department. She's been brutally honest to me. One time I was complaining about work, and she said to me, "Did you ever think it might be you?" Needless to say, the room got very quiet. And probably at that point, I stopped complaining as much. I want to thank my daughter, Christina Diaz. My mother-in-law, Jan Guthrie. My son-in-law, Christopher Reddick, operator, Atlantic Base operator. And I just want to say thank you to everybody that's here, because you guys have made this much more special, but especially my family. If I was here alone today, it wouldn't feel the same. You know, I've got a long list of people to thank, and I kind of touched on this at Operator of the Month, but I truly believe that everybody in this room would not be where they are today if it hadn't been for the help of someone else. I would not have been here if it hadn't been for the help of my chiefs, who have given me patience, and sometimes I needed a little extra. They've given me guidance, they've given me support. I'd like to thank Jeff Berg, who has been my chief, had been my chief prior to Ayanna, and he helped me through some really rough times in the last few years. One was the passing of my sister, and I believe my sister's here today with me. You know, I want to thank my coworkers for their patience and forgiveness of me. I haven't always maybe been the best example of an operator, but one thing that I hope that they did see is that I was heart and soul. I've said to my wife, I said every day I leave a piece of myself at work. Sometimes not so good, but most of the time is good. You know, we were in a pretend focus class across the street because they didn't want to tell us about this, and it was about operator commendations. And they were talking about people that had achieved even 25 in 1 year. And I thought to myself, I'll never achieve that. And with that thought, this is, you know, I mean, I thought I'll never achieve this. You know, Operator Turner told me last year, he said, there's a chance for me. I said, I don't think so. You know, I didn't think I would be able to achieve this at this point in my career. I always kind of thought it was towards the twilight of my career. I'm very, very surprised, very happy, very humbled. You know, a few other names I'd like to mention is, you know, this is killing me because I have a horrible memory, is Ramona. She was a chief a long time ago at Atlantic Base. She helped me through a very tough time that kind of helped me go towards the right direction. It took me a long time to get back to that direction. In fact, what a lot of people don't know, that it was probably 17 years between my first Operator of the Month and the second. So I had a few rough years. I'm very surprised that I'm here today. I want to say thank you to Ayanna. She dealt with me last week, and she called me at my house, and I was off that day, and I was dealing with a personal stress. And I thought to myself, why is she bothering me at home? You know, and I even told her that, you know, and I even told her afterwards that I was, you know, I apologized, and that the news that she gave me just to even come to a luncheon was what I really needed. You know, I want to thank Kayleen for bringing good comments. There's a few.
Ivan Henry to the window for signing. Ivan Henry to the window for signing. Also, Joyce Jeffries and Al Ritchie to the window, please.
There's a few that I wouldn't have been so proud of today. You know, but the thing about commendations is I never really did this for the commendations, and I tried to avoid the complaints. The reason why I did this because I realized a long time ago that even though it was stressful, that it's the kind of job that will teach you a lot about yourself. I've become humbled by people that had situations worse off than me. And it has allowed me to actually do you know, what I call my I'm sorry, I'm at a loss for words. Just, I'm able to do my good deeds in life, and I can do it on my job. You know, after that, I can go home and relax. You know, I'd like to also, if I miss anybody, please forgive me. I'd like to thank Frank Lowe. I don't know if he's here today. He's been very patient as a coordinator, and you could hardly ever sense that he was irritated, and I know I gave him many reasons to be irritated. And I want to say also that I'm in the presence of greatness here with all the other operators of the year. You know, one story I'd like to share while I'm up here is about Fred Valenzuela. You know, I like to joke that I've been operator of the year before. And it was only maybe for one day. But what happened is I had a passenger who came on my bus, and she said, "You're operator of the year." And I said, "No, I'm not. I don't know what you're talking about." She wouldn't let it go. She says, "Yes, you are. You're just being humble." She said, "You know you are, Freddie." And then I knew what she was talking about, and I also joked that that's probably the closest I would ever come to it. I just want to thank everyone for their kindness and patience, and again, forgiveness. It's things that I try to practice today, and I ask that you please forgive me if I fall short. Thank you. One more group. And I almost did it again. At the Operator of the Month luncheon, I forgot to acknowledge 587. I have the proud distinction of saying that practically my whole adult life, I've always worked in a union shop. It's something that I'm very proud of, and I thank you for your hard work and commitment. Thank you, everybody.
Once you start hearing from them, you really realize that they are the best of the best. And one of the main qualities I keep hearing all day from these three and some of the other operators of the year that we've heard talk about is you guys care. And that's huge. And if we had more of that around here, it'd be a better place. So I appreciate all you guys do. And once again, congratulations to the 2017 Metro Operator of the Year.